I'm not even going to lie.
8:44, everybody. And a groundbreaking announcement by the U.S. Commerce Department this week will result in a historic expansion for Jewish businesses, not only in New York, but across the country.
Yeah, Jewish businesses will now be classified as minority business enterprises, making them eligible for billions of dollars in grants, contract, and loans. Duvi Honig is the founder and CEO of the Orthodox Jewish Chamber of Commerce.
They did it.
And he's
They
joining us this
finally
morning.
got it.
Look at that guy.
They finally got it. Oh, God.
It is a kind of a juxtaposition because we're supposedly this passed on January 25th. This bill, so this isn't like some old thing I pulled up. This is current news, and we're supposed to be in this era of post DEI, post affirmative action. But at the same time, they're like, yeah, we're gonna give like business grants to Jews for being minorities when they're like the most successful like demographic basically in America.
They outpace the Asians. Like what just happened?
And they're really good at like getting the grant money. Like they're really good at like knowing the system and using it to their advantage. So they're going to be taking full advantage of this, I'm sure, and getting lots of money.
They're geniuses at that. I got a Hasidic guy that writes me all the time about all these things I'm missing out on. He's like, wow, if you get married in another country, and then you like, dude, they're all in Section 8 and shit too, and they're like billionaires. I'm telling you, they just game the system. They like look at the rules and they're like, oh, check out this loophole, and they think you're supposed to be like pumped, and I'm like, but that's wrong, and they're like, oh no, wrong. You know,
then they take you to court. Then they take you to court and they somehow like get the use some mind trick on the judge and like still somehow win. But see, this is why I'm friends with Ron Coleman, and this is why I don't get into beef with anybody on the timeline. And that is like a true thing, because you got to be friends with everybody: Jews, Jew haters, non-Jews, the Muslim. You got to be friends with everybody, because like one day that pasty white guy like that might end up being a minority. It might have like some special business powers, and you might need some handouts or something. So, look,
dude, I got a couple tactical Jew friends. Yeah.
Oh shit!
To discuss the impact of this new classification. So, good morning to you, Duvi. Great to have you here. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here today.
Yeah, I mean, huge week for you. Very exciting. Can you talk specifically about what this change means then?
Absolutely. It's so historic. Think about it. The Hispanic community is 19% of the U.S. population.
Yeah.
The African American is 15% of the U.S. population.
Whoa. Hold on.
Is 2%.
Wait.
13, isn't it? Maybe 14.
Then not only that, but have we got beat by the Hispanics?
Oh, you didn't know?
Yeah.
Fuck, Margaret Sanger.
Yeah, she fucking did it. She did it.
Well, yeah. Plus a decade of open borders and being like bordered with Mexican countries probably had something to do with it too.
But like in England, the royal family is like 0.1% of the population. It doesn't mean you give them free money,
Yeah. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Technically, you do. It's called taxes. but dude, look at that fucking like it's so hilarious. They're talking about minorities, and they just cut over to the whitest looking guy ever. It's just, oh my God.
How do you prove you're a Jew? Like, what do you got to do? Like, is it like?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Matt Walsh should have done that documentary. What is a Jew? It's like it's a race, but not really. But it's a religion, but you can be an atheist. It's like, so if I put on a little hat, do I get money? Like, do I have to clip my dick? Like, what is it?
What's to stop you from just saying you're Jewish? That's a really good point.
Go to koshersupply.com and order a couple of yarmulkes and just walk around in them. And
dude, I'm in. Like all these like Groiper types call me a Jew all the time, and I'm starting to be like,
that's your street cred. Screenshot them and like bookmark those. Literally,
dude, I've tagged the ADL and shit. I'm like, look, they're saying I'm a Jew. Can you take down all the hit pieces and shit?
Being Jewish could be like the new Native American, where everybody starts pretending.
Yeah. But it doesn't even have a definition. How do you take a blood test for a religion? Like, you can convert, like Adam Sandler's wife converted to Judaism. So it's like, Can I convert to black? Like, what does that even mean? There's like no coherence to it at all. I think it's a pretty sweet mob move, though. You throw in a little hat, get some money.
Yeah, see, this is why I don't like get all the hatred of the Jews. Like, I'm like, guys, they are like gaming the system at a level that we've never seen. Like, if they really like, let's take the like the super Groyper logic that everything is because of them, that they run all apparatuses in the world. Everything that has ever happened is because they like super 69D chessed it. Then why don't you learn those moves? Like, learn the tactics. Like, that's
right.
They're showing you how to play the game.
Yeah, I don't hate Jews either. I get annoyed by them. They're like whiny and shitty. And I like to make fun of them, but yeah, they're not like gods. Like the dudes that super hate Jews, they almost treat them like gods. They're like, we can't do anything because of Jews. I can't have children because of Jews. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
All right, I don't want to get too controversial here, but I will say I'll devil's advocate the Jew hate a little bit. Now, before I do that, let me say I agree with you. There's people who are way too obsessed with it. It's like their only thing in life, and those people are annoying. I have a little bit, as a white guy, a little bit of a bone to pick with Jews as a group, because when you look at everybody knows white people have like a white guilt problem. And I see that as Hollywood being one of the main vectors that was put on white people with all these like slavery movies, Holocaust movies, even like Westerns. The white people are always like the worst humans. They're treating to the natives. They're treating the natives like the worst. And I think that played a role. You can tell me I'm crazy if you want.
No, 100%. I mean, I was breaking this shit 7 years ago. I'm not allowed on Airbnb. Like, they've had meetings. Like, I was showing it in my encyclopedia. That's from like the 60s. The word Holocaust doesn't exist in that encyclopedia. It's like a marketing, allegedly marketing. But it's like, if you hate them, it almost feeds it. Where you're like, oh, because of your movies, I have guilt. It's like, no, to get your free will back, to get your real power back, you're like, I can choose to not have guilt. I can choose to not watch your movies. I literally live in Idaho on a farm. I'm like, I'm not eating your food. I'm not watching your shit. I'll make my own shit. I'll read a book. And then you're like, and then you almost get that look from the Jews where they're like, you've passed our test. It's like, you just reject it.
You
just like
escape the matrix.
Yeah, and then they give you better deals. They're like, okay, how about 8%? Like, if you don't, I don't even have a credit card. I don't have a mortgage. I'm like, dude, I'm not into usury anymore. I see how you guys do this shit. And they're like, okay, but what about if we call it, Christian percentage? And you're like, dude, I'm on it, man. You're switching the names again. And they're like, ooh.
That's the funniest thing.
MBDA, billions of dollars of grants since 1969 when they established the Minority Business Development Association under the U.S. Department of Commerce. There's hundreds of programs and billions of dollars of revenues and grants and all different contracts from startups to big companies who are eligible, including banks who are obligated to give specific amounts of loans to minorities that Jews were not included in.
Yeah.
And no one understood it. And people always voicing frustration. Jews are always the underdog. And it doesn't make sense. Like 2%.
Jews are always the underdog.
Dude, they own the bank he's talking about.
Okay. That's a little bit. He lost me there. That's
fucking hilarious. He's like, I go into my cousin's bank and he won't even give me the money. I'm like, you own the bank. Like, you invented the money in Babylon. Like, what are you talking about?
He was doing so good, and I was like, yeah, man, this guy's a grade A hustler. Like, he's playing it, and then he went left right there. Like, he leaned way too much into it.
Yeah, they go over chutzpah. That's why they have to start over every few hundred years. They're like, we had him by the ropes, and then we just fucking went for it. It's like, were you cutting off kids' dicks again? Yeah. Oh my God. This is not going to play well, man. This is not going to play well. When it's like another Jewish business got free money because they're minorities. It's like, who's the business owner? The governor, the mayor, the senator. You're like, what the fuck?
That just makes everybody like more pissed off. It's like literally nobody thinks about them until stuff like this pops up into the news. Then all of a sudden everybody's talking about it. And then all of a sudden it makes you think about it. Then if you say like, hey guys, I don't really think we should be talking about the Jews like this, you get dogpiled by one guy over there. Then because you're not on their side, you get called anti-Semitic, and it's like you can't win.
You can't win. Yeah,
So,
I will say I haven't seen many people talking about this particular story. Like this happened 5 days ago, and it's not like it's been a big thing on Twitter or anything.
They're picking the confirmation. Well, they're picking the confirmations as a perfect cover. I mean, shoot, I would pick a busy news cycle right now. Everybody's busy yelling at the same
exactly. Yeah, they timed it for the election and all the deportations and stuff like that.
We're the biggest, smallest minority in America, you know?